Hello, everyone. Mike here, founder of Magnus. Today, I'm here with Jackson, who is, what do you do over there at Comet, Jackson?
I'm a developer here at Comet. Been here for about 3 years or so now.
You're really in the trenches. I mean, I got top level, like, I'm up here. You're like deep in the code trenches. You've seen some pretty scary stuff, I suppose, there, and being a developer.
Well, yeah. I'd argue the first year may have had more scares where I came through our junior program, which the first year you spend in support while doing a few development tasks. But you definitely learn the program while you're doing that, and also get to experience some of the scary moments we're going to talk about today.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And this month is Halloween, my favorite time of year. If you're stateside, and I don't know if that's the case for you, Jackson, but it is pumpkin spice season. It is in full swing here in the States, and we figure it'd be a great time to get together as backup vendors in the industry and go over some tales from the crypt, some IT horror stories. So definitely looking forward to this. Has been something I've been wanting to do with Comet for a while, and I'm glad that you were able to take time out of your busy day to join us today, Jackson.
Glad to join you.
So I have been in this industry a super long time. I have had multiple IT roles, and I figured that we would just dive right into some horror stories here. So back in the day when I was an IT manager for a credit union, we were launching something stateside called mobile deposit or remote deposit capture. And that's where you take the check and you take a picture of the check and you submit it to the bank electronically. And the money goes into your account after a few days. And this is the question where everyone, and this is the point where everyone's gonna be like, why is this IT related, Mike? Because once we launched that feature for our small little financial institution, the next day I got a ticket from an end user asking, how can they mobile deposit cash? And I tried to explain it the best I could. And it definitely made me question my sanity. I mean, can you answer that question? How can I mobile deposit my cash, Jackson?
I can't say I can, but that is quite a good one to open with. How did you reply to that ticket?
So I tried to convince the user that it is not possible. She was not happy with me, but she assumed that if she just took a picture that it would have something to do with the serial numbers. And so we finally were able to get her to, she wasn't happy because she really wanted to do it, but there's no way to mobile deposit cash. And in 2025, it could change next year, you never know.
Interesting. We've had like a few really silly questions come through like that, but for the most part, they're usually, once we explain it, kind of just accept the answer. Don't usually try and fight it.
Yeah, but what kind of horror stories do you have? I mean, if you want, I'm all for you talking about my good friend Mason or anything over there at Comet. I mean, we don't want to get anyone in trouble, but I always love picking on Mason over there from your Comet team.
I've got a couple from my time on support. I've jotted them down just so I don't forget them. None to Dob Mason, and he's usually our savior in some of these scenarios. But one of my earliest support calls actually was quite funny. We had an older gentleman come on, and I believe it was Mike and myself taking the call. And I'm not sure if we actually do video on the support calls anymore, but we did at that point. And we solved his issue quite early, and then he was kind of just having a chat, telling us about support and tech back in the day. And he got quite comfy, probably a little bit too comfy. Maybe forgot the camera was on and just took his shirt off.
Oh.
And we kind of Mike and I kind of just like looked at each other. I was like, okay. And then a couple more minutes went by, and then I think he realized that, actually I'm on camera, and quickly switched his camera off. That was quite a fun one.
I gotta say, so for those that don't know, Magnus Box has been around since 2018, and we are a backup provider as well. But we're very transparent that we actually are a Comet reseller, and that's what our system is based off of. And so I want to preface my next statement by saying that because I didn't know that was the level of service Comet offered, Jackson. I mean, what is there something in the support queue where I can ask for that? You know, I don't know. I think it's I got questions now.
The just a one-on-one call, or us watching you take your shirt off.
I don't know, because I didn't know that the taking the shirt off part was part of Comet's support package.
No,
so.
it's not usually our standard way of going about things, but yeah, we do take a handful of support calls each day when issues require it, or just a helping guided hand might be needed.
Yeah, I can guarantee and I can vouch for Magnus Box as the founder that we don't have that level of service of of the shirt. We do the one-on-one support with through we use Google Meet for our system, so we definitely like to make sure people are taken care of. But yeah, I got to say it's I think that's better than the remote deposits horror story. That's pretty rough. We're gonna have to put
sorry, have you got any more on your end?
I think we're going to have to put an explicit for that one. But, you know, we've seen a lot. And so for IT related, we actually had a horror story a couple of years ago. And I'm going to keep it very generic because I don't want anyone to get in trouble. But we had a ransomware incident with Magnus Box and one of our MSP partners. And so the MSP was taking care of a dental office, and they weren't actually like the MSP for that office. They were just a break fix only, and they were using our backup solution, Magnus Box, to protect this dental office's data. And next thing you know, they got ransomware, and they were trying to figure out how they got in. Well, come to find out, the main computer had RDP open to the internet, the whole world. And the bad actors had gotten into it, and the backup software wasn't locked down. And so when we deploy Magnus Box, we have our own custom profiles that we deploy as far as like security goes. It's stuff that we have found over the 8 years that we've been doing this that are like industry best practices, things like forcing password, putting in a password when you go to open the web portal or the endpoint software is what I'm trying to say. And that was all disabled. We had seen where in the logs that it had been disabled by the person who installed the backup software. And what happened is that the bad actor came in, found the backup software, did some digging, and actually purged all of the data from the backups because all of the security was disabled. It's basically like they left the front door open. And the data was gone. And it was a scary time. I mean, we had their lawyers involved, our lawyers involved. We came out okay in the end because we had documented that our best practices were in place when the software was deployed and it had been removed. And so it's just one of those things where MSPs need to be aware of that. And if you're taking over a client and providing that level of support, just be aware of what risk you're opening yourself up to. Like, for example, that MSP wasn't contracted with this client on a monthly basis. And so there was a lot of questions over legality and who was responsible for it. So it was definitely one of my top IT horror stories, being the founder and owner of Magnus Box, was that.
Yep, that's quite a terrifying one. It's definitely always spooky once lawyers are getting involved.
Yeah, lawyers, you know, and as I told the MSP, as the dental office's liability insurance came into play, like, they're not on your side. Like, they're only on their side. They're not even on the side of their client. Their whole goal is to protect themselves. And so it was one of those times where it was definitely a scary situation. That's what we wanted to relay to our MSP partner, was that be careful what you say, have documentation, and always, you know, have a plan in place for a scenario for something like this happening.
Yeah, that's a pretty scary one. My next story is actually kind of in a similar vein, but very much more the MSP's fault. This one, which is quite an interesting one. Also, a form of medical practice was being backed up. This MSP had been contracted with this practice for around about 2 to 3 years at this point. And now I take it over at Magnus Box when you guys you guys resell. Sorry, never mind. But if, a standard practice for MSPs are to, every now and then test the backups to make sure you have valid backups.
I preach this every day. We still have 2 MSP clients from my glory days of owning an MSP. And so I am preaching, test your backups, test your restores. It's at the heart of my soul. It's going to be on my headstone. Did you test your backups?
Well, this MSP hadn't tested their customers' backups for the whole 3 years. They were effectively backing them up. So this medical practice had also a ransomware attack. And then they had customers wanting documents and stuff. So customers were trying to sue the medical practice for not being able to provide the documents. And then the medical practice was coming to the MSP going, hey, we need our backups. And the MSP came to us and went, hey, Comet's not restoring the backups. What's going on here? And we're like, that's very strange. Let's look into that. And after some back and forth and digging, we managed to get their job log history. And every single backup, I believe it was a daily backup, for these whole 3 years had said backup not completed. Every single one.
Yeah.
And nice big red text. Effectively what they'd done is they'd set a time limit on the backup. And it was because the initial backup was quite large, it never managed to complete the initial backup. So this MSP didn't have a single backup of this practice. And very quickly changed tune once we showed that to them of blaming us, and kind of ended up going, hey, what can I do here? We did end up developing them a custom tool to try and extract as much data as we could from the partial backups. I'm not sure how effective that ended up being on their end, but that was probably one of the worst mismanaged horror stories I saw on support.
Yeah, and it's sadly though, Jackson, it's I see it as a common theme though as well, because we've had stories similar to that where we had an MSP partner who onboarded with us, who they set up a client's backup and they never checked it for like 6 months. And this was like the early days of Magnus Box. This is like 350. This is like before we hit 50 MSPs on our platform. I would actually go in like once a week and before it became overwhelming and actually check everyone's backups. And we had one where we reached out to them. We saw that had been failing every day. We reached out, we called, emailed, we documented everything. And then they called 6 months later and said, hey, my client needs a restore. And they're like, nothing's restoring. And I'm like, well, here's my log. Here's everything that I tried to do to contact you. And they were upset. They were very upset at us. But at the same time, we did the best we could. I mean, there's only so much. You can lead a horse to water is what we like to say. And then it can't make them drink it. And so they were upset. They ended up actually leaving us shortly after that, and because of that. But I mean, it's hard to, I feel that MSPs sometimes like to set it and forget it. And all of these tools, whether it be Comet, Magnus Box, any of your RMM platforms, you're doing a disservice if you don't go in there at least once a week. I'd say daily, and check your reports, alerts, and do that for your clients.
Yeah, definitely. That's an extra level too, with you actually like reaching out on multiple ways to try and tell them, hey, your backups aren't working. I think it's a little bit almost too common sometimes, but some MSPs do forget the managed part of what makes up MSP. being managed service provider.
They do. And I think that it's also, I see a lot of MSPs are one man, one woman shops, and they're wearing so many hats and they're trying to do everything and stay relevant. And that shouldn't say stay relevant, but they're trying to stay in front of their industry and their communities and to make more sales. And I feel like a lot of MSPs are just like, are putting out fires. And so it's definitely, MSP is not an easy industry. It is not an easy industry to be an owner, to be an employee in. I give everyone credit who is an MSP.
Yeah, for sure.
Right up there with software developers.
We do the best to not make bugs and make our MSPs jobs more difficult than they are.
Oh, and we appreciate it because I know Comet's been doing very well with their software development. Been a lot of really good releases that have been coming out. I know one of my favorite ones, and I think that the Comet team, as well as my team, would be upset if I didn't mention, is I've been so passionate about Proxmox. Oh my gosh, like I am a huge Proxmox user. Not to bash Broadcom, VMware, or Microsoft Hyper-V. But I know a client that their bill went from 100,000 to 500,000 because of the renewals. And so I think that Comet did a great job with their Proxmox deployment. It's currently in open beta. Is it right now?
Yep, it is still an open beta. Definitely check that out if you're interested in it. The more feedback, the better.
I know that I have been a huge advocate for it, and once I found out it was available, I had it running immediately. I even downgraded this is how dedicated I was for Proxmox. I had already upgraded it to, I think it was version 9 of Proxmox. And then Comet came out and said, hey, we only support, I think it was version 8. I think it's the current version and I actually rolled my cluster back. I reinstalled the Proxmox OS and I rolled back my cluster just so I could have backups. And so definitely something to look forward to. It's huge. There's not very many vendors in the industry that do Proxmox backups. So it is fully supported by Comet and Magnus. And so if you're interested, definitely reach out to us. And we'll drop our contact information at the end as well if anyone's interested in checking that out. But as far as horror stories go, I know of a global outage that took down half the internet today in the United States. I mean, I think that's right up there with IT horror story. I know for us here at Magnus, our ticketing system was down for half the day, so it was a little bit of a blessing, but a curse at the same time.
Yeah, can you really have issues if there's no tickets about it? Surely everything's fine at that point.
Hey, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, did it make a sound? I mean, it sure did, but yeah, I mean, it's been definitely a crazy day. I mean, lots of stuff out. I know my Ring cameras are out, but that's a good horror story. There is, that's another reason why, having backups on site and in the cloud are always good to have both of them. The good 3-2-1 backup method. I've been preaching it for a long time, but I definitely encourage everyone that, for things like that, when the internet goes down, which is definitely a Halloween IT horror story, it's always good to have an on-prem on-site backup. So
yeah, definitely a good recommendation, that one.
So we're starting to run out of time here in a little bit. You have any other good stories from Comet? Any non-Comet stories, horror stories?
I have one more slight Comet story. Probably not as fun as the first two, but it did crack me up when it was happening at the time. So it was another support call Mike and I were taking, and at the time I was working from home and the microphone on my laptop wasn't working. So I was effectively just listening in and then pinging Mike if I had an important piece of info to add to the call. And it was probably lucky that I wasn't on. That my mic wasn't on, because I was just cracking up laughing the whole time pretty much. We had a customer who wanted to migrate their server to migrate their Comet server to another server. And that's all well and good. We're walking them through that. But we ran into difficulties at the first step where we asked them to download the Comet server to put on their new device. And they got to our screen that has our quarterly release and our Voyager release. And they said, what one do I want? And Mike explained the difference between... first Mike just simply said, either of them's fine. Pick either, they're both fine. And he went, no, what one do I want? And so Mike went, okay, I'll explain the two versions and explain the difference between the quarterly and the Voyager, with the Voyager being our weekly, pretty much weekly release with all the new bits and bobs. And after explaining that, he simply replied, no, but what one do I want? And Mike's answer was, all right, then just take the left one. The customer then proceeds to click on the right option and download. And yeah, that pretty much set how the rest of the call was going to go for that one. That was
I picture the Matrix where they have the hands out with the red, blue, and the blue pill. Red pill, blue pill. Wow. English is my first language. I promise it's lack of coffee. But I picture that. I picture Mike holding out the pills and like, here, do you want Voyager? Do you want it's Voyager, and the other one is the what was the name for the other one?
Just the quarterly.
The quarterly. And like, which one do you want? I always go in the I mean, for the Magnus partners, you guys always get the quarterly. I'm always running the Voyager because I'm on the bleeding edge here. but definitely I could see that being, I could see a meme of Mike holding out the pills now. I'm gonna put that in the chat later. But no, I sometimes it's just people don't. A lot of people just like to be told which direction to take. And I love the age of AI thinking, and I love AI as a tool. But I have this horrific fear that it's going to cause an issue of loss of critical thinking for stuff like that, where you have to ultimately make the decision at the end. Just like with Comet, Magnus, ChatGPT, any of these tools, they're tools. You have to know how to use them properly and adapt them to your organization.
Or at the very least, no left from right.
Yes. But I have to say, in my years, because I've been doing IT for, a long time, like 20 plus years. I'm getting to the salty IT admin phase of my life. But I don't know what it is, and I think a lot of our audience is going to resonate with us. I will be standing behind someone and say, click the button on the left, and their mouse, 9 times out of 10, always goes to the right. And I don't know what that phenomenon is, but no matter how many, and it's even like professionals that have been doing this for a long time, like in the field with me, I'll be like, button on the left, and they will go straight to the right. I don't know why that is.
Yep.
Just a heads up, Jackson. The button to end the meeting when we're all done, it's on the upper right corner. Don't go to the upper left. It might be somewhere else for you, but it's on the upper right for me. So
I think it's down the bottom middle for me.
Okay, it's not in the top middle.
I don't need to do my lefts and rights, so I think I'll be all right.
It's being in this industry such a long time. It's I've had my share of aha moments, or I think we both have. I mean, in your industry as well as mine, it's like there's a lot of things, and it's fun that we can kind of relate to them and as the industry as a whole, because we're all seeing the same thing at the end of the day. Like, we're all in the same trench doing the exact same thing. And so I always get a little chuckle out of it. So, but I don't think I have any more stories for the day. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up story-wise?
No, that was my 3 stories wrapped up.
Perfect. So, Jackson, I want to thank you so much. This is our first time doing a recording with the amazing people over at Comet. Jackson, if anyone wants to learn more about the amazing things that are happening over at Comet, or want to sign up with Comet, what do they have to do to get a hold of the team over there?
Simply just go to cometbackup.com. You should be directed in the correct areas. You can reach out to sales from there, or just get started playing around with our software and check out kind of our onboarding tutorials and documentation. Yeah.
Perfect. And if anyone wants to learn more about Magnus Box or what we have to offer, talk about coffee, or we have our awesome, I don't know if you've seen these. These are going to be coming in your swag box that I send Comet for the Christmas gift every year.
We do love the swag box.
Oh my gosh.
Keeps us very, very full of sugar for a good month or two.
So it's funny, Jackson, and I always love this because like I just did a trade show recently in Nova. So if you're not from the States, it's New Orleans, Louisiana. I had to learn that through AI. I had a lot of people come up to me and be like, "What's the difference between you and Comet?" And I'm like, "We're both amazing." I mean, our teams work close together. I talk to their team almost on a daily basis, and a great group of people. And we started this tradition like 5 years ago, and it all started with Josh, the GM over there at Comet. He sent me a bottle of whiskey for my 1,000th device that I got on the Magnus Box platform. I still have it. It's probably not as drank as much as he would like it to be because he always picks on me about it. But so we started this tradition where I send a swag box to them every year full of treats from the States. And the craziest thing is that I was told a Twinkie in New Zealand is $4 for a single Twinkie. Not the box where you get a whole box in the States for $4, a single Twinkie. And so I asked them what they want me to send, and they sent me this website that has American snacks. And so I just go through that website and I just go to the local dollar store and buy them the stuff and send it over. So they get this massive box every year full of Magnus Box swag, candy. It's good stuff. And so our Magnus Box partners this year for ScaleCon, which we were a proud sponsor of, we did a sticker contest. And so our partners came up with the Back It Up Buttercup Magnus Box sticker. And so I'm going to be sending them to the Comet team as well. So that way I can be proud and laugh when I see them on the live streams and it pops up. So, but yeah, so if anyone wants to learn more about Magnus Box, now that I went off on a tangent like I always do, feel free to reach out to us by going to magnusbox.com. You can also call us 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday at 888-933-2975. And that does go straight to my cell phone or Luke's. And so, Jackson, again, thank you so much for the time today. I had a blast. I hope to do this again with the Comet team again in the future.
It's been a pleasure chatting to you, and always a pleasure working with you in general. Speaking of support tickets and all that, you always send through the most detailed tickets, a shining of example of what we look for with a good support ticket.
Definitely. And half the time I just don't feel like typing. And that's, he's giving me compliments, but half the time I just don't feel like typing the ticket out. So I record a short video on Loom and just send it in like, here you go. And so
yeah, definitely does the job.
Well, perfect. I look forward to work with you and have a great day, everyone.
See you later.